Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Today we're talking about numbering your case files. And the truth is, there's no right or wrong way to do this. The wrong way to do it is simply if you're doing it the same way you've always done it just because you've always done it that way. Instead, it may be a great opportunity for us to take a look at how you're numbering your case files and take some things into consideration. So here are some factors that you might want to think about. First of all, a lot of people will start with the year that the file was opened. And that is great. It can give you some great information as far as, how many cases you had that year and all that. Easy way to find that out. But keep in mind, a lot of people started that because back in the day when we would eventually destroy paper files because they would begin taking up so much space, then that was a very easy way for people to find the files that are based on that year and be able to destroy them. Now with digital storage, that's not such an issue. I mean, now we can keep files for a very long time for very little money. So it just becomes less important, I think, in some cases to have the case number start with, or the file number start with, a year. So if it's helpful to you and it's giving you information, keep it in there, absolutely. But consider the idea that if you're not using that number, then it may be worth getting rid of. The second consideration is the idea that if you're strictly doing litigation, it may be an idea to go ahead and just use the same file number that the courthouse uses. I mean, it seems to me like that's a lot less work to do if we've already got a number. Now, of course, if you do decide to take this up, we do need to take into consideration the idea that a lot of attorneys are hired prior to litigation being filed, so there may not be a case number yet, in which case we have to figure out what to do in that situation. Are we just going to use the person's name? Are we going to wait till the case is filed? Or, if you're handling post, judgment things or things that happen after the case has already been filed, then that's easy enough. It's an easy enough process to take into consideration. But I mean, again, if the courthouse is already numbering it for you, that can be really nice because, in some counties they use different numbering schemes, so you can tell which county it is just by the numbering scheme. In other states, they will have statewide numbers so that you can't possibly have a duplicate case number in the whole state. So that's one thing to consider if you're doing litigation. Another thing is that a lot of practice management software will automatically number case files for you. And that can be very, very easy to use. So if you're willing or up for changing your numbering system when you get that practice management software, then it can be real easy to just say, okay, here, start numbering them for me. Another nice feature, if you're using Clio, is the idea that Clio will even let you customize that automatic numbering. So they'll still do numbering automatically, but you can set up the format. Do you want the client's name in the number? Do you want the year in the number? Do you want, what kind of information do you want? So that's a real nice feature that you should check out if you're using Clio. And then another thing to consider is putting letters into your case numbers. The nice part about letters is that they can be used for a lot of things. So for example, maybe we have a letter code that tells us the practice area of this particular case. Maybe we have a letter code that tells us the lead attorney on the case or the originating attorney on the case. Again, if you're tracking that for billing or other purposes or compensation purposes, then that's a real nice code to have in there. So definitely consider using some letters. Again, practice area is nice because then we can quickly tell what practice area that is and maybe even review a list of cases and be able to see those practice areas. You can also consider adding the client's name to the number. So if we have, Jones-3789, then obviously we very quickly know this is a Jones case. Now, of course, there may be multiple cases for one client, or there may be multiple people with one name. So it's not that you're going to know exactly what case it is necessarily, but it is a good indicator or a quick clue as to who the client is on that case. And then those are the things I would take into consideration. Again, It's not to say there's a right or wrong way to number your cases, but find a way that works for you. Use these considerations to determine what you think might be helpful. What kind of information are you looking for out of your cases? Do you typically look at a list of your cases and wonder, how many do I have in this practice area, or how many does this person have? Then that might be good information that you would want to put into a case number. Because if we can save minutes a day or minutes a month or minutes a week just by having this information in the case number, then I think that's time well spent, because it's not a very hard system to implement. So I hope that helps you guys. Have a great evening tonight, and we'll chat soon.